is just outside of that. You're fine in Arp. White House, the rain is letting up quickly. Mount Selman, you're behind the strongest winds. Bullard, same holds true. Pleasant Grove, though, this is where you need to go to your shelter right now, and also in Price and also in Henderson, as I mentioned, and Turnertown. And when you go to that shelter, that needs to be that lowest room of your house with no windows, with as many walls between you and the outside. 8 walls, the best if you can do that. But this leading edge here, and you can see how sharp this is. Again, if there's no tornado warning, there could still be a wind gust close to 60, 70 miles an hour, maybe up to 65 miles an hour. The whole line has had a history of producing some 60, 65 mile an hour winds. In fact, as this line went through Tyler earlier, there were reports of some quarter-sized hail and winds estimated at about 60 miles an hour, and that was just 2 miles southeast of Tyler. So that's essentially the same portion of this cell. So this was the cell that was moving eastward through Henderson County and Smith County as a tornado warned cell. Then it got absorbed into the line. And so as this line now moves to the south, we get these what we call line echo wave patterns. And if I showed you the wider view of this, you'd notice that this has sort of a wavy appearance to it. In fact, there's one right there. Here's another one. So you can see how it waves back and forth. All right, so anywhere where we get these little notches is where you have winds coming in, inflow out ahead of the thunderstorm, and then the push behind it, the colder air that's pushing behind it, the low-level jet stream winds that are pushing into the backside of the thunderstorm create this twisting that is going on here. So we'll take a look at velocity here near Troop, west of Henderson, and we'll see if we can get that rotational couplet to show up. It may be, and it may be extremely weak. Again, we're shooting into these thunderstorms from Shreveport and from Fort Worth. And so looking at this, it's just really going to be tough to tell. It's just a matter of just judging by really reflectivity, because velocity is just not giving us any idea of really what we're seeing here. Maybe a little bit of a couplet right there northwest of Troop. We could try different color tables and see if things show up a little bit better. But the tornado warning again till 10 o'clock. We had reports there. It's a little bit better on that one. So that's near Troop. If you're in Troop, definitely be in your shelter right now. So that's a fairly good little look at that rotational couplet as it moves southeastward. So let's put the cone on this. This is likely going to follow that where the polygon goes out to the southeast. And it's roughly moving at 40 miles an hour. And then I'll point out something else that I just noticed, but I don't want to get in the way of Savannah doing that tracking here. So it's from Troop. It moves out there. Yeah, 40, 45 miles an hour, right in that ballpark. Okay, so right here, that's taking it through Henderson at 10 o'clock. So that's in about 20 minutes. So please, if you live in Henderson, let's get to our safe place. If we live in Price, we have about 12 minutes to get there. Pine Hill, about 10:17. Dotson at 10:26 and Buncombe at 10:33. Okay, I wanted to point this out. See these bright returns coming off of velocity? So these are likely from very strong straight line winds right in this area here. So that's in the severe thunderstorm warned area. The circulation itself is back here closer to Troop, and we just showed you it looked like I'm not going to call it a well-defined couplet. It was a visible couplet for sure. It's kind of broad, but it's close enough that you can have a tornado that would spin up at any time. So that's right there as 110 comes into Troop and then headed up to the north toward Arp. So it's between Arp and Troop and Blackjack and Troop. Blackjack's likely getting those wind gusts in excess of 60 miles an hour. Troop right now is likely getting the rotation is just going to cross and move out of Troop here any second. But hopefully you're in your safe place in Troop. And hopefully you've gone to your safe place now at Price and at Overton. I think we're okay here. The wind should be settling down pretty quickly in Overton. But this area here, north central Cherokee County, southeastern Smith County, into northwestern parts of Rusk County. Otherwise, Rusk County has a severe thunderstorm warning till 10:15. New Summerfield is in that severe thunderstorm warning, as is Jacksonville and Mount Selman and Overton. That's because you've got strong winds coming through. What we experienced here at the TV station was a round of some very gusty winds, maybe 40 miles an hour, and then a secondary round of hail and wind. And those wind gusts that we experienced on the second round, maybe closer to 60 miles an hour. So we had a verified severe thunderstorm warning. but no damage reported in some of the areas that we heard that there might have been some damage from the winds in Tyler. So we've checked those out and haven't seen any reports of any damage right now. So we're keeping an eye on that circulation. And what's concerning here is, again, all of this lightning that's associated with it. So there's a lot of hail in there, too. I mean, that's what's helping to create all of this lightning. But there are some strong updrafts. If you've got a lot of lightning, you typically have a strong updraft. If you've got a strong updraft, you have the potential for that cell to be turning. If it's turning in the updraft, then it has a chance to form what we call a mesocyclone or even a tornado vortex signature. Do we have the Titan indicators turned off on this? I want to turn that back on and just see if there's anything that shows up with those. So you see, there's a strong updraft being picked up by our Titan indicator. And so that makes sense. That's why we're seeing all that lightning here. And this cell is concerned because of that. And we're going to click on that. Savannah hail is running radar for us tonight. And you can see there's not a ton of big hail, but there is some hail. And the probability that that cell has a lot of hail in it, and I'm not surprised, it's 100%. That's why we're seeing all of that lightning. Now look at the wind impact. It's a 9.9, and I think that's owed to that flanking line of wind that came through Blackjack that's now headed through McKnight. The hail impact is less. Right now, we're not seeing the tornado impact, at least indicated by our Titan indicator. And this whole storm is moving to the east at 31 miles an hour. So it's moving more east-southeast in its general direction when we look at the radar movement, but our Titan indicator says it's moving more easterly at 31 miles an hour. Because it's moving more easterly at 31 miles an hour, you're getting this wrap in of rain here, and then you're also getting this push of wind from behind. So you create that circulation right in there. It looks, again, like it's rather broad. It's between ARP and Troop, and it looks like it's moved a little bit closer to Price and Turnertown. So it's right in here. There's your strong inflow notch coming into the storm. The circulation itself is showing up here closer to Turnertown. So it'll continue moving east. Again, these leading edge, these winds here, and that's where the bigger wind impact is coming from. And now our Titan indicator is showing at least a medium size, medium strength rotational couplet within that cell. If it got a little bit stronger, you'll see a little tornado indicator that'll come on. When that tornado indicator comes on, that tells us that it's in the early stages of a potential either funnel cloud or tornado touchdown. We see a lot of these what we call meso indicators, and those are just that the storm itself is turning. And it's definitely turning here. Again, inflow coming into the storm. At the same time, the colder winds are now rushing in behind it. You're probably creating like a little bookend vortice up here, a little low pressure area here, and a little low pressure area maybe on the southwest flank of this. And so that is helping to pull stronger winds into this storm system. And as those winds combine, they flow in. If it's colder air, it's more dense, it sinks, it pushes out the showers and thunderstorms or the leading edge of the thunderstorm, and it becomes more of a bow echo. So what this technically would be, we call this whole system a quasi-linear convective system or a line echo wave pattern right in here. And there's certainly, you can see it just has that little wave to it. And so right in here is where we potentially could have a tornado. So that tornado warning goes until 10 o'clock. That again is for Henderson and Rusk County. We did have the area cleared of tornado warnings, but the inflow notch is moving back into Rusk County as they speak. And so as we're talking, so here, there is a emergency manager positioned down on South Highway 42 West Rusk, south of Price. So that was that area where we were just showing you right in here. So there's Turnertown. There is the meso now as it jumps. There's Price. So you've got someone right here watching into the storm. So let's go back to velocity. Lightning is probably going to light up the sky. So they're going to get a real good look at it right here and be able to see what's happening. Now, this could be a lowering that's just kind of scraping or very close to the ground as it moves through. And again, it's moving east at 31 miles an hour, but the fact that there is an emergency manager down on Highway 42 near Price looking right up into that, that is going to be the optimal place to be for that, because most of these storms move east or northeast, and if you're south and east of the storm, you just get a beautiful view of what's going on the underside of that thunderstorm. And so that's the case here. So this will continue as a tornado warning with a possible tornado. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but just look at all that lightning. I mean, the lightning show that came through Tyler and parts of Smith County was just incredible. And so now that's basically transitioned down here into Price. So there was always the possibility that as this moved deeper into East Texas into a better, what we call sheared environment, that the line of showers and thunderstorms would start to twist again. And so that's what we've seen. So we're approaching now 9:45, and this warning has about 15 more minutes to go on it. Severe thunderstorm warning goes until 10:15 for the areas surrounding that tornado warning. Notice there's a large severe thunderstorm warning that surrounds the tornado warning. Now, something interesting to note, Longview and Gregg County, not in a severe thunderstorm warning. Harrison and Marion County are not in severe thunderstorm warnings at this time. You can see these gusty winds here that have moved out or are moving into southern Gregg County. Gregg County, southern parts of Gregg County, including Interstate 20, are still under a severe thunderstorm warning. And then you get down to Jacksonville, and you have another portion of that severe thunderstorm warning. So the tornado warning now, it looks like it shifted. It shifted out of Smith County and Cherokee County. So if you live in Smith and Cherokee County, southeastern parts of Smith County, northeastern parts of Cherokee County, you're in the clear. So you're in the clear now. It's over. It's just northwestern Rusk County that has this tornado warning that does include the city of Henderson. The circulation itself is just crossing the county line over into Rusk County. The lightning is what is concerning to me because, one, it tells me there's a lot of hail, there's a strong updraft, there's a lot of rainfall coming in with this, and where we're seeing these strong updrafts, we can easily have, that can promote some twisting in the atmosphere. It can create a rear flank downdraft. We can get the flanking line of showers and thunderstorms that can form and push the winds in one direction while the inflow notch pushes it in a different direction. In fact, if we go back to the reflectivity, we should be able to see a fairly good inflow notch right here into that storm, and then you've got the winds on the backside being pulled into that. So that's why that storm right now has a tornado warning. But look at the hail size here. That hail has jumped up to maybe ping pong ball sized hail, and the chance that it's got at least some hail in it is 100%, and it's a 90% chance that we are seeing hail that large. So this is a pretty strong little storm here that has popped up as it's moved into sort of an untapped environment over parts of Rusk County. So that will work its way eastward, I think at 30 miles an hour, as you saw on the Titan indicator. And you can see it still has a medium strength mesocyclone with it. The tornado impact is less than 1. The wind impact is also less than 1, but it's really the hail. So even though this is a tornado warned storm, the hail size has grown in this. And so maybe let's track this moving east at 36 miles an hour. Right from in here, maybe just take this whole thing, maybe we'll put the cone in there. That's going to be east at 36. So we can give people sort of a heads up on this larger hail that's coming in, or maybe find that hail core. If we go to the reflectivity precipitation type, we might be able to see the hail that we're talking about. Oh yeah, it's right, is that it? Yeah, near Henderson. So it's right in here where some of that large hail is. And again, that's going to be like ping pong ball sized hail at almost just over 2 inches in diameter, certainly golf ball sized hail. Now the question is, how much hail do we have in there? I mean, is it enough to cause some damage to cars? Is it enough to cover the ground? If you could safely take a photo of that hail, please do so. It's best to if you hold that hail in your hand, it's best to have some sort of something that you can hold in relation to that, whether it's a quarter or if it's as big as, say, a golf ball, hold a golf ball next to that. Your hand sizes are different, but the quarter sizes are universal. Golf ball sizes are pretty universal, so that gives us a better idea. So anyway, the threat of hail moves toward Price here in about the next 3 minutes. Henderson by 10:03, New Prospect at 10:09, Pine Hill at 10:20, Beckville and Carthage between 10:34 and 10:43. So that's where that storm is headed right now. There's the inflow notch. There's the strong downdraft or wind coming in behind, creating or promoting the twisting in the atmosphere. And the hail threat has certainly ramped up. Also, maybe some hail back here on the back edge of this storm toward eastern Anderson County and western parts of Cherokee County. So National Weather Service, from the latest that they have on this, is that they continue to say that there is a tornado warning for a storm radar indicated hail, quarter-sized hail, which it looked like it was a little bigger according to our Titan indicator. This storm was moving, it was 7 miles west of Henderson, moving east at 40 miles an hour. So please, if you get a chance, you can see that hail track that Savannah just put on that. That's moving right into Henderson. So some of the hail just got a little bit bigger as it moved into western Rusk County. Shreveport is, National Weather Service is still, okay, they're getting a report here from the emergency manager in Cherokee County of nickel-sized hail, 42 south of FM 13. So our radar, again, sometimes it can overanalyze or overestimate the size of hail. But again, it doesn't mean, like sometimes if you have nickel-sized hail in one spot, doesn't mean you don't have some larger hail in another spot of that storm. But that looks like the hail core right here west of Henderson now. So it looks like it's jumped ahead. That's also the stronger inflow notch. And if we go back to velocity, we'll be able to see where that rotation is. And again, it looks like it is right in here toward Turnertown, right over Turnertown right now, west of Henderson, continuing to move to the east at 40 miles an hour. Look at all the lightning. Once again, that is just a loud storm down in parts of Rusk County tonight. There's our Titan indicator giving us that meso indicator in the medium range, like low to medium. So it's not tremendously strong, but it's certainly visible on radar and worthy of the tornado warning that it has at this time. This cell has produced at least tornado warnings in Henderson County, Smith County, now into Rusk County as it's moved eastward. But so far, we're waiting to hear if there are any reports of any damage or any confirmed sightings. There were some confirmed sightings of lower rings back in Henderson County all the way out by Gun Barrel City. In fact, we had some video of a possible lowering. There are other reports of lowerings from spotters out in that area, but no funnels and no tornadoes. So it's essentially been a supercell that has been able to move to the east, and as it has, it congealed with the line, but it still had enough of its own identity, its own properties, to where it could spin up from time to time. So this is the current warning for another 8 minutes. Tornado warned storm east of Price, west of Henderson, moving east at 40 miles an hour, tremendous lightning, some at least quarter-sized hail, maybe up to golf ball-sized hail, moving out of Turnertown over toward Henderson, and then if it holds together, over toward Chapman and Pine Hill. Area in yellow is a severe thunderstorm warning that surrounds that. There are some very strong wind gusts associated with this entire cluster of showers and thunderstorms. Those winds are up close to 60 miles an hour. No reports of any damage across the area with the wind, but again, it's after sunset, so we might see something revealed tomorrow once the sun comes back up. We might get a better feel for maybe some isolated wind damage out of this. There is some lightning that stretches all the way back up into parts of Smith County, but the severe, in that part of this, in fact, southeastern Smith County has still a severe thunderstorm warning. That goes until 10:15, but it's really this part of the storm toward Mount Selman, down to Jacksonville, and then over here from Overton, that's moved out of Kilgore now toward Tatum. This is a part of the line that might have some 55 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts on it right in here, and then down the line through here. I would think Smith County is pretty much in the quiet or in the clear right now, and they could probably drop that part of the warning. But seeing as it's about 15 minutes to go, we might get to 10 o'clock and you'll see this shaved off here, because you can see it's quieted down quite a bit toward Overton and even back toward White House. So that is the strongest cell that we continue to track here tonight, and we've got about 6.5 minutes to go on that warning before it will expire at 10 o'clock this evening. And when it does expire, then we'll continue keeping an eye on these other storms for you. Those storms, though, are now starting to get undercut by the cold front. So the cold front is trying to lift them. All right, so we just had an extension to this tornado warning, and have now extended it into parts of Shelby County, Panola County, and eastern Rusk County. So we are not done with this cell yet, as it now gets an extension till 10:30. So tornado warning in Shelby and Rusk, and it's a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Henderson, moving east at 40 miles an hour. So we'll get you a new track on this. Again, it's not going to be this portion here. That's likely the hail portion of the storm. It's back here where the inflow notch is and where we've seen the rotation near Turnertown. So we'll stretch this out. We'll give you an idea. This is moving to the east at 40 miles an hour. So where is this headed from now till 10:30? Got another half hour to go on this cell. And this, as it moves into Panola and Shelby County, will eventually head toward Pine Hill at 10:20, and Dotson at 10:27, Buncombe at 10:36, Timpson at 10:42, and Tenaha at 10:53 tonight. So that is the portion of the cell, and it's really just this small section here. Not to say that we couldn't have another spin up back toward Rusk, or perhaps up here closer to Tatum. You can see a little inflow notch trying to develop, and another inflow notch back here toward Rusk and toward Palestine. So this is the portion of the cell moving through northern, or I should say southern Rusk County right now, into southwestern Panola County, northwestern Shelby County. So not all of Shelby County is in the tornado warning, not all of Panola County. Just little pieces of both those counties are in that tornado warning. Laneville, you're outside of the polygon, you are okay, but I would caution you in Laneville that you're going to get hit with some pretty strong winds here in a couple of minutes. New Summerfield just felt that, and that wind will be in excess of 50 miles an hour. Dotson has to watch that circulation as it moves into Dotson. Please, if you're in Dotson, go to your safe place right now. We'll say this 100 times, into your lowest level of the house that you can get with no windows, and you stay there. We are all live on the air for severe weather at this time with our radio partners, and this includes our radio partners 105, 106.5 Jack FM, Kicks 105.7, 104 The Ranch, and La Invasora 96.7 will return to normal programming when that threat is passed. We say that because if you go into your safe place and you haven't downloaded our CBS19 app, perhaps you lost internet access or something like that, but you still have a radio and you have it on battery power, you can turn the radio on and you can listen to us in the shelter. We will give you the all clear when everything is fine. We're trying to clear people out from, like, for instance, Overton. The threat of severe weather is over tonight. All right, this is what we're seeing inside that cell right now. And again, that's the tornado warned portion of the storm back in Henderson, west of Henderson. That had some rainfall rates in there in particular areas, maybe half-inch hour. We've seen some rainfall rates tonight that have pushed up closer to 3, even 4 inches an hour at times. So that meso is in that low end, low to medium size. That's what the yellow stands for. You'll see green, that's weak. You'll see yellow, low to medium. We get to the oranges, then we start to become concerned that it's medium to high. And then when it gets into that medium to high range, it's usually replaced by, you'll see a little tornado signature. And in past storms that we've tracked, when we see that tornado signature come up, it will tell us that there's a high impact for the tornado. Saw that in Mount Enterprise a couple years ago. Saw that last year on a couple of cells. I can't remember those particularly, but it's certainly a couple of those cells popped up in those stronger indicators, and indeed we had some tornadoes that touched down. I believe I'd have to look at velocity on that. I'm going to think that this is, this is likely an artifact. So this is likely just a hail spike, a 3-body scatter strike. So the beam is hitting some hail, and it's being directed back toward the radar, down to the ground, and then out to one side. And so when that happens, it looks like a tornado vortex signature, right, or a hook echo, and that's not what that is, because the circulation is not matching up. So it doesn't correlate with what's going on down here. This is where the circulation is. There's the inflow, and then we've got the twisting into the thunderstorm right there. So it's between Price and Henderson. That's the circulation that we've been watching. That's the circulation that the National Weather Service has been keeping an eye on for the potential for producing a tornado. All right, just want to let you know that they're going to be clearing some counties out west, north of the line from the tornado watch. So we may go back to the first graphic that we have in our whole setup and then show you the counties that have been cleared. Meantime, Highway 79 south of 839 reports no visibility due to heavy rain and some hail, no size indicated. So right in here, there's just heavy rainfall coming down and some hail. So lots of hail. That's likely why we have this feature here, that artifact, because there's just a lot of hail in the Henderson area right now. So that's what we're getting. All right, Savannah, can we go back to the first graphic? Because I think we may have some counties cleared off of this. And I just want to put some people's minds at ease here in terms of the severe threat for tonight. And so here we go. All right, so Upshur County, you're out of the woods. Smith County, no more tornado watch. Henderson County, no more tornado watch. Van Zant, Wood County, Camp County, out of the tornado watch. Morris County, Titus County, Franklin County, out of the tornado watch. Rains County and Van Zant and Hopkins County, Delta, Lamar, all out of the tornado watch for the rest of the night. Still remaining in the tornado watch, Little surprised that Gregg County is still in tornado watch. I mean, it's essentially done in Gregg County. Also, Bowie and Cass County, not sure why, and Harrison and Marion, they should be dropped also, because the threat really is going to be down here to the south and east, and then extending down toward Crockett. You still have the line of showers and thunderstorms to go through. Yeah, you have the ingredients there to the northeast. You just don't have a lot of rain going on. And if you do have a lot of rain, we haven't had any warnings in the last couple of hours, so those cells have looked rather benign at times. But that cell there, and it's a rather large tornado warning, and it's the same cell. So you go all the way back here into Henderson County. In fact, you go all the way back into Dallas County. I think this is the same cell, tracked southeastward across Kaufman County, across Henderson County, across Smith County, and now it's all the way here. So it's been spinning all the way back out, but as far as I can tell, it has not produced a darn thing the whole way. And that's a good thing. We don't want any tornado damage out of that, but the fact that it's been tornado warned the whole way and continues to, just be, it could have been a severe thunderstorm warning, maybe. But anyway, it's kind of frustrating that we have this tornado warning going on this whole time. We're warning you, and we just don't have anything that's really verifying the tornado warning. There might have been a little bit of minor damage here and there, but we'll wait and see. We'll see what happens when we get to daylight tomorrow. But we're just trying to keep you out ahead of the potential storm. We know there's a lot of wind with this, and the wind can be damaging. There's been some 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, but other than that, yeah, it's just been a tornado-warned cell all the way from Dallas. It's looked pretty ugly at times, but there's been a shelf cloud on it. But it's been more about wind and hail with that cell than it has been about true rotation within that thunderstorm. All right, let's go back to the thunderstorm, and let's go back to, this is reflectivity. We'll go back to reflectivity here. This is down in center, Nacogdoches County, and go up to the north and west. And you'll notice here, so on the leading edge of these cells, this is where you get the stronger wind gusts that would be possible. All right, so Laneville right now, you're getting into some, the rain is just buffeting. It's kind of knocking you're probably hearing it coming through the trees, rattling the windows, raining very hard right now. There's maybe some hail. Everywhere we've been hearing there's hail. Hail's reducing visibility around Henderson. Everywhere that we see these gray areas, those are potential, like hail swaths, not just hail in one spot, but swaths of hail that are coming down. I mean, there might be enough to where it covers the ground. But again, if you get a picture of that and you can do it safely, we need to see that so we can pass that on to the National Weather Service, and then we can verify exactly what we have going on inside of these storms. So west of Pine Hill, there is that's the hail core. And toward Dotson, there's some strong winds coming into this. That's a little hail artifact, so it's getting a little appendage, but that's the radar is seeing all that hail, and it's just scattering the signal back, and so it's picking up something of that nature. Let's go back to reflectivity and see if we can see anything within that cell. We've been looking around Turnertown down toward Henderson. We still haven't our Titan indicator. So right in here is where we've been continuing to see, and now it looks like it's even weaker. We've had a little bit of a stronger signature either, and now it's moved to the southwest of Henderson. So this bright green against this little red shaded area, a little bit of a couplet there. Maybe some wind gusts are coming out of that toward McKnight, down toward Brockfield, over toward Pine Hill. In fact, if we turn off the tornado warning polygon and we just kind of sample the wind speeds in there, we might get a feel for some of these 50, 55-mile-an-hour wind speeds at this time. So as those winds push down toward Dotson and Pine Hill, you may have some minor damage out of the tree limbs or something of that nature. But right now, 21-mile-an-hour winds, what we're sampling inside the cell. How about down in this vicinity here, maybe a little wind gust coming off the leading edge of the forward flank of that thunderstorm as it moves southeastward out of Henderson. So 44. So that kind of jibes with what we've been hearing the whole way back up toward Turnertown, back toward Tyler. We had a report of a 60-mile-an-hour wind in Tyler, and that's about as strong as it has been so far. We sampled a 58-mile-an-hour wind gust on the south side of Tyler as it was moving over the loop. But right now the shear is pretty light at 13 miles an hour, so that's a fairly weak rotational couplet as that continues its trek south and eastward. All right, so White House has its power back on and no damage reported at the Cascades. All right, so that was one area. There was some reports on the National Weather Service chat room of potential damage out toward the Cascades. We have checked that out, and nothing happening there. All right, let's see. Let me get some other reports here from the National Weather Service. They're going to warn toward Marion County, Texas, till 10:45, and 9 miles west-southwest of Henderson and Rusk County, hail, quarter-inch hail at 9:45. So that was about 20 minutes ago. So that's on that cell that we've been tracking and talking about. So we showed you the counties that were removed from the tornado watch. That has been most of those north and west of where the line is currently. Bossier, Caddo, Webster, and Louisiana are going to have a warning till 10:45, as will Marion. But this tornado warning remains until 10:30. So we have about 24 minutes to go on that warning as it moves eastward, and moves eastward at 40 miles an hour. Again, a lot of hail inside there, just a ton of lightning. This is an electric storm. It's a bright storm. It's a loud storm for sure. There's a decent inflow notch that's been reported from time to time, but other than that, every time we check out velocity, we just don't see anything that would, and that's good news. I don't mean to downplay that. That's good news that we're not seeing anything like that. But the tornado warning should keep you in your shelter until the threat passes. For instance, Price, you're no longer in that threat, nor Pleasant Grove, nor Blackjack Troop, or New Summerfield, or Sinclair, or Turnertown, or Overton. But Pine Hill, Brockfield, out toward Dotson, Caledonia, Timpson, you might want to go to your safe place right now. This does include, again, it's the southwestern corner of Panola County, the southeastern corner of Rusk County, northwestern parts of Shelby County for the next 23 minutes. So this is moving east at, 40 miles an hour. So the hail core itself is headed toward Dotson and Buncombe and Tenaha and Flat Fork between now and about 11 o'clock. So if you have a car that needs to get into a carport or a garage, because we are seeing quite a bit of 1-inch size, quarter-sized hail out of this cell, as this tracks southeastward into these cities, you'll want to make sure that you can get your car into shelter or get something on top of the car that will prevent some hail damage. We had quite a bit of hail back here at the television station for a brief period of time. I think most of Tyler saw a brief kind of burst of hail, kind of like what's going on here in Henderson. What's happening in Jacksonville, quite a bit of hail on that cell there. That's moving into eastern Cherokee County. In fact, let's go back and track that portion of the cell in Cherokee County with all that hail as that moves toward Rusk and Alto, and be able to help the folks out. So that line has grown now south all the way down toward Centerville. It's also moving to the southeast at roughly 40 miles an hour. So that's going to be just outside of the tornado warned area, but you got 2 severe thunderstorm warnings right now in northern Cherokee County. So right in here, all the way down into Houston County, and then that is moving roughly at the same direction as the tornado warned storm up to its north. So that means Rusk at 10:10. So that's right on your doorstep. So Rusk, you're probably now seeing the flashes of lightning. You're probably feeling the wind, and soon you'll get the heavy rain and wind. And then Grapeland, you're about 10 minutes away from that happening in your area. Up here toward Mount Enterprise, it's 10:25, so about 17 minutes till the leading edge with potentially 60-mile-an-hour winds, and then hail moves into Mount Enterprise. Back in Rusk also, looks like quite a bit of hail will move into Rusk, quite a bit of hail will move into Grapeland. Then Alto would be up next at 10:34 on down here into Cherokee County. So in this vicinity here, then that would move into northwestern Nacogdoches County. Right now, Nacogdoches County is not under any type of warning. Again, this is the severe warned portion of the storm. That goes until 10:30. So this line here is the severe warned storm. Nacogdoches County, well, Nacogdoches County is not in that. That just ends right at the Nacogdoches line. We'll wait and see exactly what happens. It's interesting to see if the Weather Service will extend this warning down into Nacogdoches County. Looking at these signatures, I would think computer modeling suggests that this part of the line was going to weaken, but looking at all that hail, there will at least be worthy of a warning because of the hail. The leading edge to here of these winds could be in excess of 55 miles an hour, closer to 58. So that continues moving in that southeasterly direction. So that's again, once you, like for instance, Coffee City, once you get through this really tough part where the hail and the wind are, once you get back to Coffee City, you're clear. So the severe threat is over for the night. So yeah, we got to walk these cells on down through here, down toward Nacogdoches, down toward Grapeland, and then down toward Center and Joaquin. So that other warning that we've been tracking, let's go back and spend some time, I suppose, on this cell here toward Laneville and Henderson. And you'll notice again, there's just a lot of lightning and there's a good deal of hail inside that storm. So hopefully you're able to get your vehicle inside and into some shelter in Pine Hill or Laneville because we do have that strong updraft in that thunderstorm. In fact, if we sample that, maybe we can get an idea of what's happening inside that cell at this time. This will just give us the latest on that tornado warned storm. So maximum hail size just larger than quarters. The probability that it has hail is 100%. The probability of severe hail is only 60%. More wind than, say, tornado, more wind than hail. So there's likely some strong gusty winds within that thunderstorm as it moves to the east, despite the tornado warning that it has on it right now. It's probably some straight line winds versus tornadic winds. Okay, so that's where we stand right now with that cell, and that cell continues to march to the east and southeast at 40 miles an hour. Lots of lightning on that cell at this time, and that tornado warning goes until 10:30. We've had that cell itself has prompted several tornado warnings at today and here through to this tonight. Inflow into our Rusk County storm, it appears to be coming cut off. This could result in the storm beginning to regenerate along the southeast flank of the inflow notch. All right, that's good to know. So let's see. This would be this cell here. Looks like that it's just kind of cutting off right in here, so there's no more inflow, but it may appear back here toward Rusk. All right, so this will be something that we'll watch and see if the inflow can develop on that portion of the storm. If that were the case, then we'd shift the tornado warning back to the southwest toward Rusk and Alto and back toward Cushing. All right. So we have some damage video coming to us from Irving, Texas, out in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex from earlier this afternoon. We'll take a look at that so you can see it looks like a car dealership, the roof torn off. They did have, again, in the Irving area, some strong winds, and they did have a tornado warning in that area. And boy, that really looks like that took a beating. There's some very strong winds. Hard to tell if that is straight line or tornado winds, but very isolated to that car dealership, but doing a lot of damage. Look at that. That just ripped through that roof and tore apart that sign and just, wow. So that's what we're dealing with in terms of what happened earlier. That's the history, particularly of this cell. And so with it having a history like that, the tornado warnings have continued on it. You just don't know when possibly it could spin up a quick tornado on you. So that tornado warning goes till about another 17 minutes, and that includes Rusk County. And again, a small portion of Panola County and a small portion of Shelby County. And then there's just lots of hail out there. And again, if you get a picture from Jacksonville, if you're watching tonight, if you're watching on Facebook or anything like that, and you can share a picture with us down to Elkhart, and you are getting hail, please pass that along if you can do it safely. You can email us weather at cbs19.tv. You can go on the CBS19 app. There is a feature on there called the Near Me button. You click on that. It's easy to upload photos from that vantage point. And we can pass that along to the Weather Service, but we can also verify what we're looking at, so we can pass that along to other viewers to get perhaps their cars into a place where they can get their cars into a place where they would be safe. There's the hail core. Look at that hail core coming out of Tyler. So that's the one we experienced here at the station on the southeast side of town. And from time to time, that hail size has been consistently quarters. And so that's the severe thunderstorm warned size. And so that verifies for the severe thunderstorm warning all the way down between Laneville and Henderson. And this is likely going to continue eastward into Panola County. This is the cell that I'm talking about. This could easily dent some cars. So that's why you need to have that and that's that core right there. And you can see it extends all the way back into Smith County. So this portion of that cell, and there's the hail core, and that's what it's producing right now, and there's the tornado warning. So we got about 15 minutes to go on this tornado warning, and as it moves east, you get all this lightning coming with it, all that hail out to the west with a severe thunderstorm warning down into Rusk County till 10:30 also. So we'll see if we get some issuances downstream. Let's go up to Marion County. We have this part that has been warned for a severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like the line has sharpened up as it's moving across the line over into the Shreveport, Bossier City area. So as it does, Marshall is in the clear now. Marshall, you're done with any kind of severe weather threat. Woodlawn, Jefferson, Walker's Mill, Harleton, Darko just about out of the threat. Tatum, a couple thunderstorms still remaining. Longview, Kilgore, you're clear for the night. No worries there. The rain is done. It'll get colder. Overnight, you'll wake up, temperatures will be in the upper 30s, and it'll be a cold rain falling. DeBerry, you're just now about ready to get into the strongest winds. Grand Bluff is in that storm right now with heavy rain coming down currently. Carthage, just about ready to get into the strong winds. Again, they'll be in the order of 50 to 60 miles an hour. That's been the history with these cells. Back here toward Dotson, you're getting into that heavy rainfall right now, and also the heavy high winds that are coming in here with maybe there's a little inflow notch trying to develop over toward Dotson. Then you've got the straight line winds that stretch all the way back. They've come through Laneville right now. Laneville, you're experiencing the heavy rainfall. It's coming down Pine Hill, back toward Henderson. Cushing, you're a few minutes away from those strong winds moving into Cushing. Appleby, which experienced a tornado a couple weeks ago, will have some strong winds that'll come in. Garrison will also see those strong winds. Currently, though, we do not have this portion of the line warned. We'll see. We'll see once we get to 10:30 if it's not extended out into Nacogdoches County. We have not had, again, many reports of wind speeds that have reached severe limits. So you could cover this with just a significant weather alert, giving you 45, 50 mile an hour winds. So that may be what we face here as it gets into southern Cherokee County into Nacogdoches County. Still got to watch as this all sort of moves southeastward that you don't have an embedded little spin up out ahead of that. If you do, you can get a tornado warning. That's one of the concerns here with that cell, that as it moved really out of southeastern parts of Smith County, northeastern Cherokee County into northwestern Rusk County, as it moved to the east, it had this little indication that there was some inflow happening. At the same time, you were getting strong winds on the backside of it that was creating a little bit of rotation within that cell. When we look at velocity data right now, aside from the lightning, this is a fairly weak rotation. It's there, but it's fairly weak. And that's near Pine Hill now and Brockfield. So if you live in Henderson, you can come out of your shelter. Pleasant Grove, Price, Turnertown. In fact, Henderson soon, you're going to be in the clear for the rest of the night. Glen Fawn, no worries. Mount Enterprise, no worries for you in terms of any type of tornado. This is trying to develop another inflow notch into the storm up toward Pine Hill. Yeah, it's trying to strengthen just a little bit now as it marches east toward Highway 59 and toward Gary City. It'd be interesting to see if they just continue to warn this cell all the way over into Louisiana and just keep it going. It's been warned all the way out since the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. I just showed you some damage in Irving. I don't know if it is in relation or correlation with this particular cell, as the two cells that came out of Dallas sort of merged into the line of showers and thunderstorms. One of those went north through parts of Upshur and Wood County. It was warned as a tornado warning in Van Zandt County, went to the east into Wood and then Upshur County in Weekend. The other one that was probably, I don't think it was actually in the DFW, which is this one. I think this one was kind of on the south side of town. That one has been the one that's been spinning all the way out here into East Texas tonight, and now has this little inflow area here and this little tiny weak rotational couplet within that just to the west of Pine Hill. So let's see. The Shreveport says it's going to continue the tornado warning for Panola, Rusk, and Shelby County till 10:30. The severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Pine Hill, or 15 miles southwest of Carthage, moving east at 40 miles an hour. So that continues to be that cell right there. Let's go back to reflectivity and see if we get a better defined inflow notch at this time. That doesn't look like it. In fact, it just looks like it's gusting out with some straight line winds and that little bit of a hail core there. So there's Carthage. There's a lot of, the lightning show is impressive with that. Respect the lightning. Respect the polygon. Please, if you live in Dotson right now, you're about to get hit with some very strong winds. Timpson, you could probably also head to your safe place and stay there until the warning expires here in about 8 minutes. So when that warning expires, then we may be able to give you the all clear, at least downstream a little bit until we perhaps get another severe thunderstorm warning. We know back in Tyler, the rain is over for the next several hours. Again, there'll be a cold rain later on tomorrow morning. There'll be also a cold rain up toward Longview that will develop in Gilmer, back toward Corsicana, down toward Palestine. Right now, the thunderstorm's moving out of Palestine. They'll move toward Crockett. And again, this whole line looks rather sharp, but we're not seeing additional warnings being issued right now, at least as this cell has moved out of the warned area back toward Jacksonville, and this cell has moved out or is moving out of the warned area in southern Anderson County into Houston County. Additional warnings have not been issued on that yet. They did issue the warning for this leading edge as it moved out of Marion County into the Bossier-Shreveport area. But right now, I'd say Marion County could be, you can take yourselves out of the warning. You just have some maybe gusty winds behind that, but the strongest winds on the leading edge of it are gone. No warning currently in northeastern Panola County. You do get into that tornado warning once you get into southwestern Panola County. Mount Enterprise right now, seeing some very strong winds, lots of lightning and heavy rain, but no warning at this time. No warning also across central and southern parts of Cherokee County, so that means the city of Rusk is not currently warned, nor is the city of Alto. So no warnings here, but you do have a little bit of hail coming down, and again, you'll get some stronger winds that will move into those cities. Elkhart does have a severe thunderstorm warning, and that's going to last until 10:30. Let's see. National Weather Service is circulation beginning to tighten and descend. Okay, that is going to be over on the Louisiana side. So that's Red River Parish north of Coshada. So that's on the Red River side, or on the Louisiana side. So I thought maybe it was this cell here they were seeing some tightening, but no, we're still, it looks kind of ragged on the leading edge of this. So hopefully we can get this to just not look as sharp or well-defined. That would indicate that maybe the wind speeds are coming down just a little bit. But yeah, there's just a lot of hail inside that storm between Laneville and Dotson. So if you live in Dotson, as that cell moves into southwestern parts of Panola County and northwestern Shelby County and eastern parts of Rusk County, you're going to get hail. You're going to get a lot of lightning. If it's the same that we had here in Tyler, you'll get about 15 minutes of some gusty winds, strong gusty winds, close to 50 miles an hour, maybe up to 55, maybe briefly up to 60 miles an hour. That's what we saw here. It got a little concerning when the winds were kind of hitting their peak before they moved on through. But we've checked out several areas in Tyler for damage and have not heard any. There were a couple reports, and even one of it on our radar, we had a radar signature that said there was potential damage or debris flying in the air, but that did not check out. All right, there's our Titan indicator, and let's take a look at the storm. We'll go inside, in depth into the storm, and see what we're seeing here as we check out that cell near Pineville with the hail core at this time. And again, it looks like maximum hail size is now approaching some quarter-sized. The probability is that there's a 100% chance of hail in there, and there's no argument with that with the amount of lightning. The discrepancy would be the probability of severe hail. Is it, there's a 40% chance, are we getting to the quarter-sized hail? The wind impact is certainly there, but it doesn't seem to be as strong as the hail impact or the flooding impact. So I think that's another part of the story that we need to talk about, is the heavy rainfall that continues to come down here, and that can cause some hydroplaning on roadways. That can cause you to slip. You can come up on a puddle, lose control of the car. So you might want to slow down just a little bit if you're driving through Deep East Texas tonight. Those rainfall rates are approaching 1 inch an hour, and I'm sure we could find some higher rates if we wanted to. Back here toward Laneville, that's a little hail core west of Pine Hill, south of Henderson, and over toward Gary City. We'll continue to warn the folks over in Gary City that you've got these gusty thunderstorms coming on into your area. So we got about 5 minutes to go on the tornado warning. Let's see, the circulation in southwest Panola County is not tightened up, and it appears that the inflow of the storm remains cut off. We'll likely not reissue the tornado warning downstream, but instead issue a severe thunderstorm warning for all of the storms. All right, so that's good. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to basketball. This is going to be allowed to expire here in 5 minutes. We haven't had any reports of any type of damage out of this. No reports of any sightings or confirmed sightings or lowerings out of this storm. Just a bit of hail, and we still have this severe thunderstorm warning back into parts of southern Anderson County. So for meteorologist Savannah Hale, I'm CBS 19 Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony. We will see you for CBS 19 after basketball.